Hey everyone, welcome back to the Wyoming Knits YouTube channel. My name is Jenny Lee and this is my channel where I like to talk about all the things that I've been knitting on over the past week. Today is Sunday, June 14th, 2026, and this is episode 143. You can find me on Instagram as Jenny Lee Knits, and you can find me on Ravelry as Jenny Lee S Knits. And today I'm coming to you from a beautiful, sunny southwest Wyoming where I live with my husband, our daughter, and our little Yorkie Dax. Today it's just me and Dax home. He has been in and out. He's in right now, but we'll see how often he wants to go out during this. I have 2 finished objects and 5 works in progress that I would like to share with you today. I was able to get a lot of knitting done, but I also fell down another rabbit hole. I was watching Jen from the Stash Down Diaries, and she was talking about decluttering and the Minimal Mom YouTube channel, and I decided, I'll check that out, see what that's about, and fell down the Minimal Mom Clutterbug rabbit hole and have been slowly cleaning and donating and just decluttering some of my other things. Not my yarn, not yet. I love my big stash of yarn and I want to work through it. I don't want to get rid of any of it right now, but I have been binge watching the Minimal Mom and the Clutterbug channels. So if that kind of interests you, maybe go check them out. I cleaned and decluttered my little rolling cart with all my notions on there, and I took the Clutterbug quiz and I figured out I am a B. I like things super organized, but where I can see it. If it's put away in a closed box, I forget that it is there. So I need to see it to remember that I have it. Like my project bags and everything, yes, I remember, like they're closed. I can't see what's inside them, but I know it's a project bag with something in it, and so I remember, oh yeah, I need to work on that. So, but like if I put all of this yarn away in totes somewhere, I would forget I had it. I like to come up here and see it all and look at all the beautiful colors. So let's start with the finished objects. I am wearing the first one. This is my Anacortes pullover by Michele Knits. This is a beautiful broken rib with twisted rib sweater. I love the fit of this. Right now is probably a little too warm to wear this outside of the house. It is 66 degrees inside my house and it looks like 62, but with a high of 76 today. It is currently noon. It's like 2 minutes away from noon. So it will be okay for me to wear for a couple more hours, and then I'm going to have to switch into some kind of t-shirt. But I wanted to wear this and show it today. It's still cool enough inside the house that I can. You start with this beautiful twisted rib collar. The twisted rib follows the raglan lines and down underneath, and it goes up both arms and down the side. I did have one skein that was slightly different than the rest of them that I didn't notice until I was halfway through, and with all the ribbing and the twisted rib and all of the things, I did not want to rip back and blend in that skein. So I do have like a line along the bottom of the sweater. Let's see. But I'm going to live with it and it's going to be okay. I used Yarn Cafe Creations in the color Prickly Pear. I've got kind of shadows over on this side. I started this, I want to say sometime March or April, and I finished it a couple days ago. I was able to block it. Let me grab my phone and I can tell you exactly. All my days have been blending together because I am on summer break. Let's see. I started this March 13th and finished it June 9th. And then I was able to block it and lay it out to dry. I have a spin dryer, and so it only took about a day to dry. So I'm excited to wear this fall. It's going to be nice and warm to wear in my classroom. So the next thing I finished are my String of Lights socks for my sister-in-law. So now I have both of my sister-in-law's socks finished. This is also a broken rib pattern. I started out with 64 stitches with a German twisted cast on. I did a ribbed cuff for 20 rounds. Then I started in on the pattern. I substituted in the Crazy Sock Lady's hill flap from her vanilla socks. And then I just finished the pattern on the top of the foot, vanilla on the bottom, and I used the toe from the vanilla pattern. I'm not sure. Most of the time when I'm looking at sock patterns, I look at the pattern repeat for the leg, and once I have that down, I just do the pattern repeat for as long as I want to do it. I substitute in the heel and the toe and keep the pattern repeat going. So most of the time, I don't know if I'm actually following the pattern 100%. I'm following the texture part. But I was right here on the first sock last Sunday. So I was able to finish the first sock and the second sock. I finished the second sock today. Let's see. I started these socks in April 18th, and finished them June 14th. I made these long enough to fit a size, US women's size 5 foot. I think that's all. I used Hypnotic yarn in the Yarnable color Wild Currant. Yes, I have my notes right here. But this was the November 2024. November 2024, 2025, I can't remember. Maybe 25. So those are finished. They are ready to be photographed, weighed, and given to her. So those were the only things I finished this week. So let's move on to works in progress. My first one is living in this Stitch Quest bag by Katie's Randomness. It's got the cute little pocket on here. I have I've now started putting these little stitch stoppers on my magic loop needle while I store them in the bag. A couple weeks ago, I took one of my bags and I put it in my purse, and I went to squish it down with my hand, and I poked my knitting needle into my hand. I think probably, I don't know, like right here on one of my hands somewhere, and it hurt. It's healed now. I don't know which hand it was, but when I squished it down, so I decided maybe I should start putting these. I think I got these from Twice Shared Sheep a while ago. So those are really good. A really good solution for not poking yourself with your needles. This sock is a vanilla sock. I'm using the vanilla socks on 9-inch circulars by the Crazy Sock Lady, and I have the first one done. I was right here last time I showed it. So I finished the foot, got all my markers in there, and I started the second sock. So I've switched over some of my markers so far. I need to count and see if I'm ready to put in. I think I am. I'm ready to put in my next stitch marker for my 10 rounds. I like to mark all my stitches on the first sock, and then as I'm working on the second sock, move them over so I can have matching socks. That way I don't have to get out my tape measure and measure them, or line them up and say, oh well, then you have to make sure this is all the way down and you're not going too long because this was curled up. You just know if this sock has the same tension as this sock and you count your rows, you're going to have a matching sock. So this is the Felicini by Knit Picks in the concession stand color. So hopefully I will have this one done next week. I have this sock and my Slice of Summer socks and one other pair of socks. The light yellow second breakfast sock on the needles right now. So I picked out 4 more skeins of yarn that I think I'm going to cake up and put in bags. Ooh, I have another skein caked up already in a bag. So that's 5 that I'll probably cast on sometime this week. We'll do a couple vanilla socks, maybe a vanilla bean, and maybe another second breakfast sock, and then some string of lights or vanilla socks. So that is this one. Then the next thing I worked on after I finished this sweater, the needles came in for this one. This is in a Sassy Sacks. I got a new 9-inch circular. It's a US size 2, 2.75 millimeter needle. I actually ordered 2 of them. I don't remember why I ordered 2 of them. I think it's because I wanted to get the free shipping, and you had to order so much. I was like, oh, we'll just put 2 needles in there. So I think that's what I did. I'm using Knit Picks, grab the tag, Stroll for this sweater, and this is the Pear. This is their undyed, and this one is Strawberry, and then the blue is Serene. And I got my 9-inch circulars on the sleeve and I was able to complete that much this week. So I think I'm ready, almost ready for the red stripe. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 more decreases. I like to take stitch markers for how many decreases the pattern calls for, and then put the stitch markers in. This one doesn't tell you how many rows before your next decrease. It tells you how many inches. And so if I forget to measure, that's a big problem for me. So I've got those in. I have 4 more decreases, then the ribbing for the cuff and the second sleeve, and come back and pick up the collar and button band, and then this should be finished. I want to get this finished for my daughter. Did I say this is a Stria cardigan by Andrea Mowry? I want to get this finished for her before the 4th of July, before the end of this month. So I will be working on this a lot this week to get it finished for her. Now that I have these needles with this cord is just a little bit thicker than the mini set, and I like it a little bit better. So hopefully I'll be able to just power through that and get it done. It feels like I just get going and I'm in a groove, and then I have to change colors. And it's almost a 1 stripe, and then you go back to the white because you have to purl all the way around and then do the knit in the row below, purl, knit in the row below, purl. So it's almost like a 1 stripe round, and then you get to go back to the white and you get in a groove, and then you have to change colors, and you have to remember to decrease on the sleeves. So that takes a little more brain energy for me. So that I worked on that one this week. Then let's see, I cast on a new sweater because I cast this one off and blocked it, so I told myself I could cast on a new sweater. I think I had purchased the yarn for this sweater and a different pattern in probably 2023 or 2024. I think it was probably 2023 though. Tristan of Dragon Hoard Yarn came out with the rune sweater, and she had a kit, and I bought the yarn for my size. I swatched it, and I could not meet gauge. Could not. I needed less stitches per inch, so I went up a needle size, and I got the same amount, so I went up another needle size and I got the same amount. So I tried 1 more needle size and I got slightly less stitches, but I didn't want to go up like a ton of needle sizes. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. That was the husband, and he's on his way home. So I was talking about the new sweater cast on I have. I ordered the kit from Tristan to do the rune sweater, and it came with 3 of her Terrasen color and 1 of the Highland color. And it was for the rune sweater. Could not get gauge. Tried. So I said, okay, we're gonna put that away for now, and we'll figure out a different sweater to do, or maybe go up, because this is sport weight. Maybe go up to a DK weight to get gauge, because I needed less stitches and I couldn't get gauge with a sport weight. So I thought, okay, I'll just scrap that whole idea, put everything on hold. Then I used this color to start a ranunculus last year, and I got all the way to the bottom hem, went to try it on to see how much longer I wanted to make it, and I could not get it over my head. I used the stretchy cast on that it called for the neckline, and I think I even did like the bigger neckline because I didn't want to do like whatever the fancy cast on was. I was like, I'll just do a long tail German twisted cast on, it'll work. And I could not, like, I got it over my head, but I had to take my glasses off. It like got caught on my ears and I had to pull. And so I was like, well, that's not gonna work. I got a frog all the way back, or I could cut it and re-knit, but you start with the cast on at the neckline. So I was like, it's fine. So I ripped it all out, and then I was watching Caffeinated Cast-Ons, right? Therese from Caffeinated Cast-Ons, and she was knitting the Gramercy Tee, and it's knit on a sport weight. And it has the two colors, it's striped, and I was like, ooh, I have yarn for that. So I think on Wednesday, I want to say on Wednesday, I cast on the shoulder, the saddle shoulders. And I didn't block them, but I got out my little gauge ruler, and I am on gauge. So I did both saddles and the back panel, and I think I started the first front panel, and then I put it down and waited a couple days. I worked on my daughter's sweater, and then I picked it back up yesterday and did the other front panel, joined them in the round. I've got my, you join the front and the back, and then you still knit back and forth for a little while for the V-neck. And so I have just barely connected in the middle for the V-neck. So I've got this going, and because it's striped and each chunk has something to break it up in between. I know when I did my ranunculus, I kind of tried to fade it in, but you couldn't even tell. And so I think it'll be fine. And I have this skein. I actually have two skeins of this. I don't think I'll break into this one at all. I think the 50 grams or the 100 grams will be fine for the little stripes. And I'm going to work on this. I love that green color. That green is like my favorite green. I think this is my favorite green of all time. It's got the dark and the light, and I just love it. So this is the Dragon Hoard on her Nixie Sport. Is that going to, there we go. And I'm not sure if she dyes this color green anymore, because I did get it like forever ago. And so hopefully I can get this finished. This is in one of the new bags I got from the Great Basin Fiber Arts Festival. I don't think she has a shop or anything. I think she just sends at fiber festivals. So there's this one. Then I have my, there goes my bags off the table. I have my knitting bag and my painting honeycombs. This is a pattern by Stephen West. I am making 3 of these this year. Can you tell I love this one a lot more than the other one, the other yellow one. This is working up so nicely. Let's see. I was right down here last time and I have done all of that. So I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 pattern repeats, or 11 honeycomb repeats. There's 2 honeycombs per repeat. So I've done 11 honeycombs since last time. I put in a stitch marker right here. This is honeycomb number 10. So I have 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 honeycombs, and I'm going to get to 64. So I'm using Lion Brand Pound of Love. Let me grab the tags. This one is the Pound of Love in the color Honeybee. And this one is the Big Scoop in the color Tutti Frutti. So I worked on that one. I've been trying to do at least 1 to 2 honeycombs every day. I try to get 2. Sometimes I only get 1. And then I did work on, I have it in this little tote, my scrap witchery blanket. I'm all tangled. I'm holding 2 skeins of fingering weight. I think this one might be all one color, and this one has a different color on the inside. So this one is like a magic knot cake that I made. I will put in a video with the magic knot tutorial after I finish talking about this. So I was right here last Sunday. I did a few more rounds. I love working on this. I really do. I just want to work on all the other things too. So I grab this and I do a couple rounds. Then I put it away and I grab something else and I do a couple rounds and I put it away. Yeah, this is the front side. So I'm just holding all of my pink. This is the magic cake that I had from before when I ripped out the other blanket that I was going to do and decided to do this one instead. So this is the Scrap Witchery blanket by Sock Witchery. I really do like most of her sock patterns. She does the string of lights, the stack of books, and the second breakfast ones that I do all the time. And then there was the Thursday night ones. Those are a 1x1. So I love this one. It's going to be so pretty. So here's the tutorial of how I do my magic knot. Alright, some of you have asked for a tutorial on how I do my magic knot. I was just talking with my husband and he gave me a little bit more information about why it works and why my old one did not work. So I'll show you how I do my magic knot first. So I take and I line my yarn up, and I take the two and I hold them together. One end goes this way, the other end goes that way. I hold them together. That yarn end that's coming this way, the more red color, I wrap it around my finger at least 2 times, like that. And then I bring it up and pull it through. Let's see. I need to give myself a little more slack. And I push that through the loop. So you still have your 2 loops. And then I pull both sides of the loop. And this is the part he said I was doing wrong, because I was trying to loop this over. Right now, I pick up my yarn and I go the opposite way. So I'm doing the same loop on both sides and pulling it through. Like that. And then once those are tight, you just pull the 2 ends together. You cut off your tails, and it's joined. It does not come undone. So that's how I do my magic knot now. Let me find. Is this? Okay, I have 2 more. So I'm not really going to connect these ones, but he said that if you wrap this one up and over the top, so you make your loop over the top and then back through, the loops this way, and when you wrap and pull through, pull tight, he said that on the opposite one, so if you went up and over on this side, you would want to go the opposite way on the other side. And through the 2 loops. For me with yarn, it just works better to put the yarns on opposite sides both times, and then I just do the same loop the same way both times. Then you pull your ends cut them, and even like I could go like this and it would start coming undone if you wrap the yarn the same direction. So that is pretty even this friction of rolling it around in my hand does not loosen up that knot at all. So there is my tutorial on how I do the magic knot and why it was not working the first time. I think that was everything I have for you today. I didn't get anything in the mail. I still have some sweaters that I want to cast on. We'll see. I'll finish my daughter's sweater before I can cast on any new sweaters, hopefully. I don't know. Sometimes when you cast on a new sweater, it makes you finish the other sweater. So we'll see what I get up to next week. I did have a request to do a video on how I knit socks, so hopefully sometime this week or next week I can start putting together a video that will come out separately than my weekly project updates. I probably won't show that sock in my project updates, so you can just see from start to finish how I do my socks. And don't forget the Wyoming yarn crawl, the Cowboy yarn crawl. It is happening right now. It started Labor Day and it started Memorial Day and will go until Labor Day. So you have all summer to hit up all 9 shops in Wyoming. My favorite is the Yarn in the Tail. It is my local yarn store. Make sure you stop there and grab some yarn also. And until next Sunday, happy knitting.